the number one reason why businesses actually fail is due to a lack of sales. Because when you know how to sell, you start getting more of an entrepreneurial mindset. And when you have more of an entrepreneurial mindset, you have more of a free mind. Whereas throughout school, we're programmed to go down this narrative: go to school, get your GCSEs, get your A levels, go to university, then get yourself a good graduate job, get a mortgage, and live happily ever after. Watch what everyone does and do the opposite. If you're someone watching this or listening to this and you want to travel the world, remote sales is like hands down the best skill to learn. So if you're someone that wants to live a healthier, happier life, but also make more money and become an A player in sales, this is the podcast for you. Welcome back to Sales of Cullen podcast. It's episode 2. And on today's episode, we're going to be exploring why schools don't teach sales and why that's keeping the majority stuck. This has always been something that's fathomed my mind, because I actually went and studied business at GCSE, I studied business at A level, and I even went to university to study business. And I was there for 3 years. And I ended up getting a 2-1 at a business degree, which is deemed in society as good. Yet, the number one reason why businesses actually fail is due to a lack of sales. And I didn't learn it at all. Sales wasn't mentioned during GCSE, A levels, or university. Yet it's the number one reason why businesses fail. So I really started to ask myself the question, why? Why don't they teach one of the most fundamental skills that you need to create a successful business? It just didn't make any sense. And it wasn't, and obviously on the last podcast episode, I shared the fact of why I left the UK at 19 years old, which led me on a path to, creating success in the sales industry. I never thought I'd end up getting into sales. It was never in my horizon growing up throughout school, because I really lacked confidence growing up throughout school. But it wasn't until I got into sales and I realized how important that skill was in life. And I started to question, I was like, why aren't they teaching this at school? Why doesn't everybody know how to sell, how to communicate, how to grow a business, especially the ones that are investing tens of thousands of pounds to go to university to study business? It just really didn't make any sense. And I come to a conclusion that I believe the reason why sales wasn't taught at school was because they don't want us to know how to sell. Because if everybody knew how to sell, what would happen is a lot more people wouldn't be settling for a 9-to-5. They'd be thinking bigger, because when you know how to sell, you start getting more of an entrepreneurial mindset. And when you have more of an entrepreneurial mindset, you have more of a free mind. Whereas throughout school, we're programmed to go down this narrative: go to school, get your GCSEs, get your A levels, go to university, then get yourself a good graduate job, get a mortgage, and live happily ever after. But what happens is it's leading to a population of so many people being unfulfilled, so many people not living their true purpose, and so many people that are unable to sell, that are unable to even speak to people. The amount of people that I meet that struggle to look at people in the eyes is actually worrying. Whereas when you start learning sales, when you start growing your confidence, you're going to get more opportunities. You're going to be able to live more of a fulfilling life, because you're going to start becoming a bit more of a risk taker. And that's the reason why I believe that sales wasn't taught at school, was because they don't want us to know how to sell. So I'm so grateful that you're tuning in to podcasts like this. Make sure you subscribe to Sales with Callum, because I'm going to be coming at a weekly podcast episode every single week to dive into how you can master sales. But let's actually take this a further step, okay? There's this quote that I live by in business and sales, and it's: watch what everyone does and do the opposite. And if you think about it like this, if I, like what I just shared there, I studied business at university and sales wasn't even mentioned. So I know that the majority of people that study business at uni, they don't know how to sell. So if people that are going to study business don't know how to sell, then that also means that the majority of the world won't know how to sell. And I realized that at a very young age. And that was the reason why I went all in with that skill, because I realized and knew that the better I got at this skill, the more money I was going to make. Because at the time when I was 19, 20, 21, when I first started out in sales, selling different events when I was younger, doing seasons abroad, my only main motivation was to be abroad and to make money. They were my motivations. Whereas I've now moved on after being in sales for 8 years. My motivation now is to help. My motivation now is to serve. Hence the reason why I'm filming this podcast for you right now. Because if this can be that podcast that helps you change the way you think, if this helps you, takes you on a different direction, helps you take that risk, helps you go all in with sales, then I've done my job right. And that's what my mission is. I'm focusing on a purpose now. So it all started out just focusing on being abroad and living a good life. And sales was the vehicle that helped me create that opportunity. So if you're someone watching this or listening to this and you want to travel the world, like remote sales is like hands down the best skill to learn. And that's exactly what myself and my business partner, Jordan, are training guys to create freedom in their life by mastering remote closing and also mastering remote appointment setting. Because I realized for me, like, back when I started sales 8 years ago as an events rep, like remote sales wasn't a thing. Like people weren't really selling online then. It was all direct face-to-face sales. Whereas now everybody wants to go on remote sales because it means you're able to travel the world. It means you're able to make money anywhere in the world and you have time, location, and financial freedom when you master how to sell. But I actually realized in the remote sales space, if you really want to master it, you also want to make sure that you go all in with learning how to become an appointment setter. Because when you can master both appointment setting and closing, it means that you're going to be able to easily land like the best vetted remote sales roles there are on the market. But not only that, the majority of people that go down the route of learning sales are very entrepreneurial. And that's likely going to lead you to move on to eventually becoming a business owner. And if you're an online business owner and you know how to appointment set and you know how to close deals, you're going to be absolutely lethal. And I want to share something pretty vulnerable with you right now. And I ran a business called Freedom Lifestyle. And that business was actually failing in 2024. It was midway through. I had an amazing start to the business. I literally made 16 and a half grand in 3 days. I was high off life, but then I got comfortable. And not only did I get comfortable, I didn't know how to get more leads because I wasn't very good at appointment setting. It was something that was very alien to me, the whole remote sales. I've always just been good at networking and meeting people in person. So when it comes to meeting people, online, it was actually something that was quite new to me. So because it was new to me, I just avoided doing it completely. But then that led my business on to nearly failing. I ended up having to start applying for remote sales roles. And within a week, I landed an incredible sales role. And I landed it and I got stuck in. But within 1 week of being there, I made a decision to quit because it wasn't my mission. It wasn't my purpose anymore. My purpose was to help. My purpose was to serve and share my wisdom and share my message of my philosophies of sales. Because yes, there's incredible sales mentors in the industry. Grant Cardone, as an example, completely transformed my life. But I feel like I have such a unique take on it because I have a very holistic approach to sales. I'm very focused on making sure that you prioritize your health. There's this very culture online of hustle, 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 work every single minute of the day, have no time for having fun, sacrifice your health, sacrifice sleep. Whereas for me, I'm actually like, no, do the opposite. Watch what everyone does and do the opposite. And instead, focus on your health, focus on your sleep, focus on having fun, and you'll end up making more money. But most importantly, you're going to be living more of your purpose. You're going to be happier. You're going to be enjoying life. So if you're someone that wants to live a healthier, happier life, but also make more money and become an A player in sales, this is the podcast for you. And I'm so grateful for getting this opportunity to share what over 8 years of sales experience and investing over £50,000 into business and sales mentors. I'm excited to take you on this journey. But other than that, I hope you have an amazing day. And I want you to let me know. Like, give me a message. Get connected with me on Instagram. My Instagram is Sales with Callum. Give me a follow and DM me 888. The number's 888, which means abundance in angel numbers. And I'll know that you come from my podcast. I'll know that you come from watching this training. And I'm excited to connect with you. I also have a private close friend story where I share daily sales and mindset value. I'd love to invite you along to that. Obviously, it's completely free, and I'm just excited to connect with you and help you on your journey. But other than that, I hope you have an amazing day. Hasta luego, and I'll be seeing you on the next episode.